I'm not sure if y'all heard me the first time or not. But what's up, everybody? It is your girl, your diva and knowledge lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where I'm going to always be serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Big ups to all of my subscribers, those of you who have been rocking with me from day one, those of you who have just recently subscribed. I welcome you to Mocha's Cafe de Paris family. And if this is your first time ever viewing any of my content and you like what you hear today, please make sure you do not exit without hitting that thumb up, thumb down, and make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way, when I upload some new content, you will be the first to know. Okie dokie. With that, moving forward, I definitely thought it was very imperative that I address this particular issue, this particular situation that occurred with y'all favorite with the late, well, not particularly everybody's favorite, but he's definitely the ladies' favorite, Mr. Derrick Jaxxn. They call him, basically the simp psychologist, being that he tends to give a lot of information that basically sugarcoats or gives many broken women the sense of being justified in ratchet behavior, or basically giving them a pass and unethical behavior, whatever the case may be. Everybody has their own particular perception based on Mr. Jaxxn. One point in time, I will admit I was a fan of a lot of his videos, a lot of his content. And the reason why I was a fan of some of his content and his messages was because I had went through a lot of things that he talked about. If I hadn't gone through it, there were girlfriends of mine who have gone through it. So I really felt like a lot of Mr. Jackson's content was like a safe haven, especially for Black broken women, or women who are feeling like they're down on their luck, or women who basically have reached a point of denial to where, you know what, I'm not going to take accountability for anything. Basically because there's a man out there who can relate to my pain, and he understands why I do the things that I do. He understands why I don't take accountability, or whatever the case may be. So his content has always been a safe haven for women that are in denial, women who are broken, or women who are somewhat going through that may be going through a current situation that he's so happening addressing at that point in time. So I get why he has such a large fan base. Big ups to Mr. O'Shea Duke Jackson, because I didn't know anything about this until I was watching his content earlier today, and I thought it was very interesting. He brought up some significant points, and I pretty much agreed on a good percentage of what Mr. Duke Jackson O'Shea was stating, and I just wanted to give my own perspective, coming from a woman's point of view, because we always hearing the brothers that are always addressing, Mr. Jackson when it comes to his shenanigans as far as co-signing on BFF behavior. So I just thought, it was important, being that most of his fans, or most of his big large support system comes from women. I just thought that it would be more edifying and more effective had it came from a Black woman, since we are the ones we are his predominant audience, basically. We're the ones who buy his books. We're the ones who purchasing his t-shirts. We're the ones that are giving him all the views and all of the accolades that he has based on our personal pains. Our personal pains have become his gains. So, I get it. I don't know him personally. I can't say he's doing it from the heart or not, and I can't say if it's just another hood hustle for BFF, whatever the case is. He's definitely benefiting from it. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of these women who partake in, these females who partake in BFF, they are benefiting from it as well. So it's an even exchange, because he gets to stroke these females' egos by making them feel confident about their ratchet behavior. And at the same time, that is making them feel good about themselves. That's giving them a pass on all of their past bad, negative, and present behavior. So it strokes them their ego and it makes them feel good. And again, he's profiting. So it's an even exchange for, the black women who support him and also for Mr. Derrick Jaxxn. So with that being said, I just want to give my own intake on this meme that has been going on within the Facebook, but circulating on Facebook, because I do have a Facebook account. Unfortunately, I have to have one in order to keep up with the mess that's been going on. But it was Mr. O'Shea Duke Jackson that brought this to my attention, which is what made me look into it. So big ups to Mr. O'Shea or whatever. So anyway, I seen this meme floating around and it has Mr. Jackson's picture, of course. And on the picture, it says, a real man gonna stick by his woman, even if she's pregnant by another man. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that. Whoever did this meme, they definitely was throwing shade at Mr. Jackson. And although Mr. Jackson may feel the sense of that he's getting a lot of props, especially from black women, that he's being that he's always encouraging black women and he's always kind of given the majority of his content based on uplifting black women, even those who lack accountability for their actions and whatnot. Basically, the person, whoever created this meme, they didn't do it in a positive light that I guess he's used to women kind of putting him in. They basically shaded him. Basically, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that they're saying basically, you are a simp. You simp for women so much. Well, this is what I gather from it. Let me tell you what I gather from it. Okay, this is just my opinion on what I thought about the meme. What I gathered from it, because everybody looks at things differently, but what I gathered was they're basically saying you simp for BFF behavior so much to the point that even if a woman does something that's mad foul or mad disrespectful, you're going to find a way to comfort the woman and make men feel less inadequate because they will not comfort a woman who will even stoop this low to this level of ratchet behavior. So basically, they're just saying he's a simp. That you simp for black women so much, no matter what they do, you're going to find a way to justify. You're going to find a way to comfort them. You're going to find a way to basically soothe their ratchet behavior. Because let's face it, a lot of the men they really don't have much love or respect for Mr. Jackson, being that he has always defended the ratchet shenanigans of black women. Now, I know a lot of people wondering, okay, well, Mocha, where are you going with this? What is your point for even getting involved and having an opinion? My opinion is that basically stems from the fact that most of the women who really ride with their Mr. Jackson, from what I can understand, are the majority of them are ones that I even know personally, who I know do a lot of shit. You know what I mean? They partake in a lot of fuckery behavior. And if they haven't done it currently, they've done it in the past. And a lot of these women are still feeling some type of guilt about it. But a majority of women who have partaken in fuckery behavior, whether currently or past tense, they're always looking for an outlet. They're looking for comfort. They're looking for somebody to stroke their ego, to give them that pat on the back and say, yeah, it's okay. You messed up, sis. You fouled up, sis. You got 8, 9 baby daddies, but guess what? You're still a woman. You're still a queen, and you should be treated as such. So women that have become damaged or have fallen short uh, from not making the best of decisions, they are usually the main ones that are quick to gravitate towards men or women like that promote the same type of content that he does, which basically strokes fuckery behavior. It pampers. That's what I really would like to say. Basically, a lot of women who have made ratchet ass decisions, they want somebody to pamper their fuckery behavior. And Unfortunately, Mr. Jaxxn does that. And not only does he do it, it's a lot of men and women in the YouTube streets that promote fuckery behavior. Now, even though I don't want to go off the topic, so does it happen with the opposite sex too, because you do have some black men that will co-sign on black male fuckery behavior as well. No matter how many 8, 9 baby mamas he got or whatever, you still a man, and women should stay in a place when it comes to you. So it's something that does happen with both genders, but right now I want to stay on topic. So and being that it's about Mr. Jackson's meme, we're not going to talk about BMF behavior. There's plenty of women on YouTube that already talks about black male fuckery. So if you want to hear more about that, you already know where to go. Okay. So we want to stay on subject here. Again, talking about this meme. So basically, again, Mr. Jaxxn has given a lot of delusional, ratchet minded females this confidence that it doesn't matter how much I have messed up, I can still be treated like a queen, and I'm supposed to be treated like a queen. And again, to the point I wanted to make, which I almost lost track of, most of the females I know are females who have had a lot of participation in fuckery behavior. These are the main chicks, even the ones with the 8 or 9 baby daddies, the ones that on husband number 3, the husbands that's on number 4, some of the women who intentionally put themselves in a situation to be single mothers when they knew they could have avoided it. They had ways of protecting themselves, but they chose not to. They're the main ones who gravitate towards him, Mr. Jaxxn. They're the ones who are sharing Mr. Jackson's videos. They're the ones who are buying Mr. Jackson's books. They're the ones who are buying his coffee mugs, his t-shirts, or whatever other items he's advertising and he's profiting off of. They're the ones that are supporting him, because I know females personally who who are prime um fuckery participants, and they love this man to death because he really helps them to overlook their faults. And I can pretty much understand why a lot of these women gravitate towards him, because for one, it's very painful when you fit the category of BFF. It's a slap in the face. It's a harsh reality. No woman wants to be told that she's part of the fuckery team. That she fits or she qualifies. Basically because she has 8, 9 baby daddies. She's never been married, or she's on husband number 3, number 4. She's a single mom. Everybody got their own perceptions of what they define as black female fuckery. I cannot give you an exact definition. Only the men who promote this type of content, they're the ones who can give you the real meaning for what they believe black female fuckery behavior is. So I get why women gravitate towards him. Not only does he stroke their ego and make them feel good about their poor choices, you have to look at him. He is a very handsome guy. He's very fit. He's very in shape. So that's also another pass that he's using to his advantage, because women, like men to a degree, we are visual creatures. And the fact that he's a nice looking guy and he's fit, he's somebody that a woman would be interested in dating or whatever. That's another plus for him. Guarantee you, if he was 800 pounds and looking like he drove buses for Greyhound or something like that, or he was the head chef of Popeyes, making Popeye's chicken sandwiches, sisters wouldn't care what he had to say. It didn't matter if he was saying something good or bad. They would shun him off. But because he knows he's good looking on top of that, that's another plus, because women are very drawn to nice looking men, no matter how deceptive they are, no matter how cunning they are, no matter how low down they are. Not saying that he's that way, because I don't know this man personally, but basically he could be a straight con artist for all the hell they know, and it wouldn't matter to these type of females anyway, because again, they're going on how this man looks, and then on top of that, he co-signs BFF behavior, so that's a plus. So I mean, I get it. Dude is smart. Dude is brilliant. He's profiting off of these females' pains, because again, what female wants to hear? You dumb bitch. How dare you get knocked up for the 3rd, 4th time by a different baby daddy. You barely take care of three you got, or how dare you have your first child from a better male who already has 6, 7 kids. Of course, no female wants to hear that. A female being told that you is like basically taking a butcher knife and slicing off a whole left arm. That's how painful the reality is. Now, even though she brought it upon herself, the truth is she does not want to hear it. So she will gravitate and go to places that will make her feel welcomed and make her feel like her poor choices are acceptable. So, like I was saying, a lot of the women who share his content, who post his videos on their timeline, who share his content off of Instagram, most of them are women who fit the BFF category. Majority of the time, I'll say I'll say 8 out of 10 women rock with him because he strokes their delusional ego. Like that, it's okay. You still supposed to be treated like a queen no matter what. No matter what you do. So what if you're on 3, 4 baby daddies? So what if you screwing all type of married men? No matter what you do, you still a queen and you deserve to be treated as a queen and you deserve a king. This is the perception he's given them. Now, let's say if he doesn't mean it that way. He may not even mean it the way he's saying it, but because these women are so broken, they are going to intentionally perceive it the way that they want to, which brings me to my whole point in this. People are going to go places where uh, someone could associate with their pain. Okay. Basically it's like a lot of members who go to a church or are involved in church. The majority of people, let's put it this way, when it comes to church, and I don't want to stay on this kind of subject too long because religion is very sticky. Some people go to church because they really want a connection with God. You have others who only want to go because they're in pain about a lot of things and they know the pastor is going to give scriptures and give a message and give a word that's going to pamper their pain. Okay. So everybody's not going to church because they want to have a relationship with the Lord. They want to be saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost and fully delivered. They're going through something and they just want to go to hear a good word, something that's going to get them through the day. So basically, people only go to places where they feel like people can associate with their pain. And this is basically the reason why a lot of women are gravitating towards Mr. Jaxxn, because they feel like all of the things he speaks upon, for instance, let me see if I could let me see if I could find some of his other messages where he talks about different things. Because like I said, I used to be a big time fan of his, but I stopped viewing a lot of his content. And the reason why I stopped viewing his content was because I you can just it's kind of like you could tell when somebody really trying to sell you. It's a difference when somebody is trying to heal you, and it's a difference when somebody is trying to sell you. And because the majority of his content, the majority, he doesn't like switch it up and balance. He doesn't like do something for the men where men need to be careful what kind of women they need to meet. I think every once in a while he'll say something about it, but it's not much. And I just really felt like he was selling me as a Black woman. Cause I'm like, women, don't get me wrong, a real woman, we love to be complimented. It's kind of like, for instance, to give everybody a better analogy, let's say if there's a guy on your job as a woman, if there's a guy on the job who compliments you and says, okay, your hair looks nice. Of course, okay, the first time, okay, thank you. You come back to work the next day, then he says, oh, not only your hair looks nice, but I like your outfit. Okay, you like my outfit? Thank you. You come back the third day, now he likes your shoes. You come back the fourth day, now he likes how you got your nails done. You come back the fifth day, now he's talking about he like the jewelry you wear. You're doing too much. I feel like you're overdoing it. You're trying too hard to win me over. And that was the perception I got from Mr. Jaxxn, that he was trying too hard. It's kind of like brown nosing You know, you have that one employee who jumps at everything the boss says because he wants to be employee of the year, or he wants to earn a promotion or get that free close parking space and a job up front so you don't have to park to the back like everybody else. It's just you doing the most. Like my daughter would say, Mama, he be doing the most. When when certain guys be trying to talk to her and stuff, she's like, Mama, oh my gosh, dude was really doing the most. And that was the impression that I got from Mr. Jaxxn. I'm not knocking what he does, and I'm not saying that I have an issue with him. Some of his content is still good. I only listen to certain things, but when he's being too mushy about you're this kind of woman and you're supposed to get this kind of man, I'm like, you doing too much. Because for one, you're giving all women the same type of medicine, and all of them don't need to be prescribed the same type of prescription, because some of these females have brought this upon themselves. Now if you're giving advice to women who are not at fault, who really did think she was making the best of decisions and she didn't make the same mistake over and over and over, as it was a one-time thing and she's trying to heal from it, or maybe she was young and dumb. There's different factors, but the truth of the matter is usually the women who have repeated the same mistakes over and over who still want to be pampered. It's women who intentionally go into situations knowing it's bad, but because she wants to try to get a man or keep a man or whatever, she'll get knocked up by a pookie anyway. You know, whatever the case is, a lot of these things, women, they know better. But regardless of what, we still want that our emotions to be pampered. And that is what turned me off with him. When he did a content about child support belongs on a, what the title say? I got to click on it. Child support belongs on a card that only supports the children or whatever. He had the audacity. I remember when I saw that content, and there was a topic going around about how a lot of people were saying they felt like child support needs to be put on the card, specifically where you can only buy things for the children, not rent, not pay for your car note, not get Chinese food, not get your nails done. Because you do have a couple of states that are enforcing it. They have these EPT cards now where you can only use that card if it's pertaining to the children. You can use it in a children's clothing store, you can use it in a grocery store, you know, just different things. But it's basically limited to where she cannot spend what she want to spend on that card. He had the audacity. Of course, all of these delusional pigeons was, you know, giving him a round of an applause. They was cheerleading when he basically gave the statement in his content that a woman, mothers should not be told how they should spend their child support. That's basically, it was basically in the realm of that the government don't need to be place of stipulations to where she's only limited with spending the child support on the child, that she should be able to do what she want to do with it. And I remember him saying something about, for instance, if she needs to pay rent and the kids are staying with her, she should be able to take that card and pay for her rent. But my thing is this: kids are not. You're supposed to be able to pay for rent. You're supposed to be able to pay for water and lights. Even then, your child support money shouldn't be going to utilities or whatever, because you was going to have to pay for that anyway, whether if you had children or not. So basically, he co-signed and boosted these broads, these low common denominator minded broads, up into believing that, yeah, you have the right to do what you want to do with the child support money. And that's not true. The child support money should be used to support the child. But I don't want to go too far into that. But this is just to say that this is the things that he does. And any woman who cannot read in between the lines and not figure out he's buttering you up a little too much. He's really trying to, you know, feed you some soup. And because you so entwined with the fact that he's telling you what he wants, what you want to hear, you're buying it. You're willing to buy into the game. You're really to play into it. You know, it just amazes me, you know, some of the things that, you know, he says that even I don't agree with as a woman. Things he says, I would never tell my daughter that. I would never tell my daughter, you know, the information that he's giving other women, because the truth of the matter is he's not a woman. So is things he is the majority of the things he speaks upon, he could only relate to it maybe 70%. No, I no, that's too high of a percentage. Maybe what, 30, 20%, and the rest he can't really rely and he can't really identify because he's not a woman. And he's not giving information from a ratchet woman perspective because he hasn't been a ratchet woman and he hasn't really been around ratchet women. He's, if he's been around them, but he don't know the psyche of how a woman really operates and how she really thinks the way that she thinks or whatever, because he's speaking from a man perspective, just like to a certain degree. If I do content about men, I'm limited. It's only but so far I can go into it because, again, I'm speaking from the psyche of a woman. So I can only give you general information or information about men from a female perspective. But at the end of the day, I really don't understand the psyche of a man or the nature of a man because I am not a man. You know what I mean? So, basically, like I said, that's why I stopped rocking with him. I can't speak for the other women out there, but I felt like he was trying too hard to win me over. You know what I mean? Like I used the analogy about the man who may compliment you on the job. It's okay, you compliment me once or twice, but you're doing it every day. Why are you doing that? What are you trying to get from me? Why are you constantly coming at me? Now, a woman that's desperate, who loves attention, that's always thirsting for a man to come to give her confidence, she'll believe it. She don't have a problem with him complimenting her every day. She'll take it every day and really think he means something by it, when the truth of the matter is he really doesn't. It's something he's trying to get. And as I stated with my point, people go where they feel like their pain can be associated. People could relate to their pain, basically. So not only are women who lack low self-esteem or women who lack accountability for their BFF behavior are more likely to gravitate towards Mr. Jaxxn. You also have men, on the other hand, who will gravitate towards men who talk very harshly about black women because, again, these men, they can relate to other men who are constantly addressing black BFF behavior because they too have been dogged by black women. They too have been mistreated by black women. They too have been used and taken advantage of by black women. They too have to pay child support, some of them. They too have fell in love at one point in time and gave their heart to the wrong woman. So therefore, the anger and the animosity that's built up inside of them, even though they try to hide it behind their masculinity, they will go to these places to hear other men speak very harshly about black women because, again, it's about exchange and pain. People are going to go where people can relate to their pain. Man who's in pain or still bitter or who's still holding grudges about what black women have took him through or what a black woman is currently taking him through, especially if she's making his life miserable, making him pay child support, he's going to be the main one in the chat room. Yeah, F these black BITCHs, you know what I mean? He's going to be the main campaigner. He's going to be the main cheerleader. Same thing with these black women. If she's been dogged and dragged by black men, of course she's going to gravitate towards Mr. Jaxxn and whoever else supports women who hold a lot of grudges or hostility against black men. I say all that to say this. People are only going to go where they feel like their pain can be related to. It's an exchange in pain. If I did content talking trash about black men all day long, I will have way more female subscribers than what I do now because they're going to look at it like, wow, finally there's a woman who can relate to my pain. She can relate to what I'm saying. She is speaking to me through her pain by helping me to deal with my pain and vice versa. If I talk trash about black women all day, I would get more male subscribers because he's going to have this perception. Finally, a black woman who understands that all black women ain't no good and this and that. Why? Because he has hostility towards black women. So basically, people are going to go where they need their ego stroke. People are going to go where their pain is going to be pampered, where somebody's going to pat them on the back and say, it's okay, later for them. You know, you don't need a black woman. You don't need a black man. And what the black community is not understanding is that we're actually poisoning one another's psyche as to how we perceive one another. And while we're thinking we're winning as content creators by promoting the type of content we're promoting, we're talking bad about black men, we're talking bad about black women. What we're doing is poisoning one another. We're not helping each other. We're not healing each other. We're poisoning one another. And all it does is it continues to make that hate spread like cancer. And the hate begins to eat us up to the point to where we just end up just building so much hate and hostility towards one another. And what has happened is everybody has found a safe haven based on their pain. It's basically pain exchange. It's a lot of pain exchange in the YouTube streets. Not only the YouTube streets, it's a lot of pain and exchange in the black community. That is why these sisters or these females who partake in BFF behavior, they're going to always support Mr. Jaxxn, because he's stroking their ego, he's pampering their pain, and he's basically making them feel as if they don't have to be held accountable. Because I haven't heard him really say, well, you know what, ladies, if you want to be treated like a queen, you got to carry yourself like a queen. You can't be picking up peasants. You can't keep getting knocked up by pookies. I really heard him say that. And then I really hear other men who talk badly about black female, um yeah, black BFF behavior. I do hear it, but not as much all the time. I've never hear these guys address men who partake of pookie behavior. While you're on your platforms addressing how black women need to do this or black women need to do that and stop sleeping with all these pookies and ray rays and stuff. But they as men, they're not addressing the pookies and ray rays. They're not saying y'all the ones that's going around here, y'all doing the same thing that some of these black women are doing. Just like these black women is getting knocked up from every Tom, Dick, and Daryl, so you pookies and ray rays, y'all going around here knocking up every Peaches, Nene, and Kiki. So it's not just the issue that reflects on one gender. The truth of the matter is the black community is ruined based on the fact that it's not a black woman thing, it's not a black woman man thing. It's what's called lack of accountability thing on both parts. And the way people have learned to run from accountability is by basically pointing fingers and playing a blame game. Okay, so that's basically how I feel about Mr. Jaxxn. Like I said, I don't look at him as a healer. I don't look at him as a motivator. I look at him as a salesman. I just feel like he's selling women because he knows we're vulnerable. We will buy into anybody that is going to associate with our pain, you know. And I think he's just, if he has any good intentions, it's very small. Put it this way: if he has any good intentions on a scale of 1 to 10, if he did have any good intentions, it may be like a 3. The rest is all about profiting. It's all about notoriety. And it's all about benefiting. I don't know, but I haven't seen him with a black woman for him to talk about how much he likes to encourage and inspire us. I haven't seen him with one. Not to say that I made some less genuine or whatever, but it just kind of does make you wonder. And again, you women, we're playing into it. We're buying the shenanigans because he's good looking. You know, if he was an ugly dude and was talking reckless about black women, it would be easy to say, oh, he ain't all of that anyway. He ain't even that good looking. Ain't nobody even attracted to him. It'd be easy. But because he's good looking on top of it, that's a big advantage for him. You know what I mean? So again, and to be a salesman, you do have to have the whole package. You do have to, you think if you're going to buy a car and you got two salesmen and one is good looking and he's built, nice physique, six pack, and then you have this other salesman that got a stomach, that's shaped like a Michelin tire, and both of them want to sell you a car. The mind of a woman is automatically going to go towards the nice looking one because she's going to think that he has good intentions. When really she's just going by his looks, even though the guy that's built, that may be short and got the waist of a Michelin tire, he's the salesman that probably would have most likely met her well. He would have tried to really give her a good sale without robbing her. But because women were visual thinkers too, most likely she'll go with the con artist because he looks good and he knows he looks good. So he's going to use that his advantage. He's going to finesse. Yeah, I got a nice car for you. I think this 2019. I think you'll look good in it. He's going to finesse her, and it ain't going to take much because he already looks good. So that's my opinion on him. I think another point I want to add, he tried to contradict himself and basically say when this meme went around that if your woman gets pregnant by another man, you should stand by her or whatever. If you're a real man, you'll stand by her. He did say, which I was surprised, but he said honestly, he wouldn't even do that. He wouldn't even stand by a woman who got knocked up by another dude, because he said his ego, his pride, he wouldn't be able to deal with it. He wouldn't be able to swallow it. So I just find it contradicting, because at the same token, he has always rolled hard for single women. So my thing is, if you wouldn't be able to handle it as a man, it would bruise your ego. Then that's the same as saying don't deal with a single woman, because basically, if she came to you pregnant, um, and she didn't have a baby daddy, but the majority of your content has been about a real man, should be with a single mother, accept a single mother, but yet you just said in this particular scenario you would not accept it. Your ego wouldn't be able to deal with it. So when is it okay to accept a single mother, and when is it not okay to accept a single mother? So I guess, are you trying to state now there's an exception, or are you saying, well, if she comes to you single and already has kids, that's more acceptable, versus when she gets pregnant on you, that's unacceptable? I don't know what he means by it or whatever, but my thing is, it's still a little contradictory, because again, if she's with you and she gets knocked up from another man, that makes her a single parent. You can't accept it, but you're willing to. Well, I guess maybe he's looking at it this way, because we were in a relationship together. She violated me. She stepped out on me. Maybe that may be the difference in the light. Maybe that's what he's trying to insinuate. Whatever the case is, a lot of brothers ain't going to be buying it, because the way men think different from women. With women, it's a gray area. With men, it's either black or white. So for men, if you're saying that a man should not be with a single woman, that should be period all the way around. Not only in the event that she gets knocked up on you. Or you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's that's not a good look for him at this point, because like I said, all these single women been riding with him all this time. And now for you to be on some, if it were to happen to you, you wouldn't deal with it. I don't know. That's kind of a sticky situation, but everybody has their own way how they perceive it. But like I said, I'm not a fan of him. I've been stopped rocking with him. I feel like he's doing too much. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, he's trying to make profit off of, black women's pains, denial, misery, whatever. So that's my intake on that. Second thing I wanted to address is this Malik Yoba situation. It just keeps unraveling. Like I said, this transformer done came out and already put blasting him, saying how, he's been touching her, since she's been underage and she's going to court. And what I do know, some state statutes, it don't matter how far back a person can file a case against you if you ever tampered with them or you ever sexually assaulted or molested them during their youth. I don't think there's a limitation to where you could only go but so far back, but so many years before you could charge them. So now she's saying that she's going to go to court, so it's not a good look on his behalf. Also, I heard he was let go of out of a sorority that he was leading. The sorority he was a part of was some type of sorority that was an inspiration for young black men who were striving to become successful. It was called Better something. Let me see if I can find the name of the sorority he was in. Because I don't know about these different sororities, y'all. I've never been in one. Let me see. Malik. Um, okay, so I'm just looking up that information. Yeah. So okay, the fraternity. Yeah, fraternity. I don't know why. I think sorority is for women, and fraternity is for men. I don't know, y'all. Anyway, our fraternity removes Malik Yoba from youth leadership role over inappropriate relationships. So he's definitely he's losing he's losing some positive things he had going for himself. All of that stuff has been taken, things are slowly but surely be taken away from him ever since he made that statement. After serious accusations were recently made, now that this individual is going forth, and I believe black or white, gay, straight, if somebody has assaulted you in any type of way, you have every right to file charges on them, especially if they done it to you in your youth. And now you're older and you still live to see another day. You should not let them slide. So I commend this individual for not backing down. He wanted to put it out there like that, so now he got to deal with it. After serious accusations were recently made against Mr. Yoba, a fraternity has decided to remove the actor from a leadership role meant to bring awareness to youth program, according to memo obtained by News One. Phi Beta Sigma. Yoba was removed from his position as spokesperson for the Sigma Beta Club program, which focused on providing mentorship to preteen and teenage males through social, cultural, and educational enrichment. The Empire actor, who was an honorary member of the historic Black fraternity, was named the spokesperson earlier this year. Memo September 5th was sent out to fraternity members on Thursday and said the organization's decision to remove Yoba came after allegations were made against him by Mariah Lopez Ebony, a trans woman who claimed the actor paid her for sex when she was underage. Other women have also shared similar stories. So here we go. Those reports allege that Yoba had been previously involved in an inappropriate relationship 20 years ago. Allegations that brother Yoba denies. The memo said this is a serious issue. An allegation is inconsistent with and a distraction to the focus of the Sigma Beta Club to safeguard the reputation of the fraternity. It has been determined it to be in the best interest of all concerned that brother Malik Yoba no longer serve as the national spokesperson. On Sunday, Lopez, who's also a trans activist, wrote a Facebook post that has gone viral, claiming that Yoba sought out trans sex workers and took an interest in her when she was 13 and 16 years old. She also alleged that he begged her for unprotected sex. Her post came from after Yoba revealed on social media that he was attracted to trans women. You always remember celebrity clients. It's like time slows down. You remember every detail, blood pounding. He was cute and polite. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sure he knew what he was doing was wrong. Lopez recalled what Malik paid me to do as a 13 and 16-year-old wasn't love. His ignoring that I wasn't clearly a child prostitute wasn't love. New York undercover actor has since denied the claim, so all the stuff is alleged. Everyone, okay? This is allegedly. Even this ad that I'm reading, we don't know if it's a fact. It has yet to be proven. Basically, New York undercover actor has since denied the claims he had sex with underage trans sex workers. in his odd Instagram rap. He's supposed to rap, please. The 51-year-old said how quickly people love to spread news with no proof of child abuse. You confused, I see you. You choose to try to make me lose, but I can't. You can't win when you live in sin. After the rap, he stated a lot of nonsense is floating around town the last few days. I'm like, what am I going to say about all this? I'm not going to defend myself. I'm a dig deep. I'm a lean into my creativity. I'm a lean into the purpose, and the purpose is all the surface. It's all about love. Allegations against Yoba were not the first time Five Better segment had to deal with claims of sexual misconduct. In 2017, a lawsuit was filed against uh another segment youth leader named Marcellus White after he was accused of using his position to sexually abuse children. So yeah, like I said, I guess the um Five Better segments said, we cannot allow you in leadership. We don't need these children to be tainted, especially by you being the leader. It's taken away from what the fraternity is supposed to represent, stand for. You got too much negativity surrounding you. So I totally understand it, especially now that there's a youth involved in these accusations, because again, these are alleged. There's no solid fact proof yet. So of course, they did what was in the best interest of the children who look up to Mr. Yoba and all of the other leaders over this fraternity. So it just had to be done. My intake on this, for him to come out in the blue, I felt like he was going to be outed anyway. It just was too sudden. After the situation came out with the young man who decided to commit suicide, or I think he had an overdose or whatever the case was, all of a sudden you want to publicly post how it wasn't right, and how you was always attracted, to trans and all of this other stuff. And your wife was upset. She posted that she felt like this was something that should have been discussed behind closed doors, whatever the cases. I don't know. It's a whole lot that's going into it. You can go to anybody in the YouTube streets. They got videos on it. So basically it's not a good look for him right now. Now it seemed like when one roach comes out, then here comes all of the other roaches. So now everybody's coming out. They Bill Cosby in him. Everybody want to come out now, and he did this and he did that, or whatever the case is. So at this point, what's more ruined for him right now is reputation. You can't put a price on reputation. Even if he was to pay off these, you know, individuals, and sweep it under the rug, is not going to take away from how people perceive him now, because people are really looking at him undercover, and I don't mean like New York undercover. So at this point, I don't think he could do anything to redeem himself or whatever. I just don't think anybody's going to want to partake. I mean, well, the community, they look out for each other. He may have to just go all the way on that side, because they always support each other, and I think that's a positive thing. But from the heterosexual, a lot of people, they real funny about that. They lack understanding of those who partake in that lifestyle. So he's not going to be embraced by the heterosexual community as much. So being that he wrote came to their defense, they may be more reluctant, they may be less reluctant to allowing to embracing him and welcoming him over there. So I mean, he might as well go all the way on out now, come all the way out the closet at this point. He don't need to straddle the fence. No, I'm not this and I'm not that. Nah, bro, that's almost like people who do same-sex porn and still swear up and down their street. And I've seen an interview one time where a guy, that's what he did. He was a porn star who only did porn with the same sex. And his thing was, this is how he felt about it. His thing was, that was just a job. That's the only time he slept with other men, was on the set. But when the set was over, after the smash session was over, he went back home to his regular life. He didn't partake with men outside of that. So in his mind, he don't feel like he's that way. And we are in a society where people have learned to lie to themselves, where people have learned to convince themselves otherwise. People have learned to tell themselves, I'm really not that way. Like you have some black females up here who really don't believe, they cause themselves to be a single mama, even though they label every time they can dare. In her mind, she don't think she wrong for that. And she don't think people need to judge her or look at her no different. In her mind, she really don't see nothing wrong with that. And just like you have some black men who feel like they can sleep as many women as they want and they still consider the man. Not realizing that sleep with a whole lot of bras does not make you masculine. That makes you a female gigolo. I mean, gigolo, a male gigolo or whatever. But people have learned to perceive things in a way that makes them feel good about their poor choices. That is the society that we live in. Okay. So basically, that's what Mr. Yoba has done. He has learned a lot of himself and say, even though he clearly admitted he's attracted to transformer robots in disguise, he admitted it. He want to backtrack and say that's not how he meant it. So you know what? There's no need of arguing with people that are in denial, people who are delusional. You are wasting your time trying to make them see themselves for themselves. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to address these two topics. And again, like I said, my overall point is people are going to go where they feel like others could relate to their pain. So just like you have a lot of females that rock for him, you have a lot of men who rock for male content creators, who are all for BFF. So people are going to go where they feel welcome. You're not going to see a black person um bring a dish or bring a casserole to a Ku Klux Klan picnic. You're not going to see a white person, bring donate or bring, some a la mode pie to a damn Black Panther organization. They're not going to go there. People are going to go where they feel comfortable, where they feel the most embraced, where they feel the most accepted. So, again, I understand. I was one of those women. I felt like I needed to listen to men like Mr. Jaxxn to make me feel good about myself. Till I realized it was just all game. He's just saying what I want to hear, like a dude trying to talk you out your panties. You know what I'm saying? Trying to finesse you, and I just feel like Mr. Jaxxn is biggest finesse of all finesse. I mean, and he does. I mean, a lot of things he says make sense. I'm not taking away from his knowledge, but I'm taking away on why his motives. His content is good, but his motives are not good. And that's all I have to say about that. Okay, so anyway, y'all, definitely want to give a big ups to all of my subscribers. I appreciate y'all. When I say y'all be rocking for your girl, y'all definitely be rocking for me. Y'all don't let nobody get away with disrespecting the diva and knowledge in the queen. So I definitely appreciate all y'all who supported me through the good and through the bad, and I'm definitely grateful for each and every one of y'all. So anyway, if anybody's interested in some cable, you want over 6,000 channels, you tired of spending all your money to these cable companies that are pimping your pockets, email me at Cafe de Paris, so I could definitely set you up with a more cheaper, reasonable, affordable service. So all you need is an Amazon Fire Stick and you need internet, and you will also get free pay-per-view um events also comes with the package. And I can also give you a mobile app for those who would like that added in their package. That way you can take your cable with you anytime, anywhere, any place you go. Those who are interested, you want to see my brand continue to grow. Again, I want to start on my book, that I've been lying about for the longest, that I was going to finish, and I have yet to finish it. So those who want to donate for me to continue with the project with my book, you're welcome to cash at me at Diamond Girl. I would rather cash out. YouTube takes forever. Super chat, they take forever to send money. So if anybody feels the need, or if anybody, God puts it in your heart to bless my brand, I would rather you cash at me. So anyway, y'all, it's been real. It is your girl, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth, and I'm going to always break you off with a slice of knowledge. Y'all be blessed.